everyone, welcome to the Stage Door Show. Tonight, my guest is an indie pop singer-songwriter out of Texas. Some of her new singles like Falling and I'm Glad I Met You show that her music is gaining a following as she continues to grow her young career. Looking forward to hearing more about what she's working on and also for my listeners to be introduced to her. So let's welcome to the show, Kristen Taylor. Thanks for being with us, Kristen.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just talking about a couple of your new singles and, Falling and I'm Glad I Met You. And you did a great job on the production of those. Talk about the writing, first of all, those songs and, the production, because it was well done. Talk about the process of making those.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I've actually, in the past, this whole music journey has been like super new to me. And so, I'm on a low budget, and so I've kind of had to learn how to mix and master all my own songs. And so now hearing that is like awesome. Well, let's see, like Falling was kind of about, I live in a small town called Belton, Texas. And I went to a small like Baptist university, and I kind of felt like everyone around me was getting married, having kids, and just like fairly quickly out of college or in college, And so like I felt like I was in a sense falling behind, even though there's no real timeline,
Right.
Just again, it's the culture here. And so I wrote this song particularly with one of my friends, Ivy. And so we sat down, wrote it in like a day.
How does one make it look easy? Like 1, 2, 3. I'm stuck in this drought. I want someone guaranteed to be on my team. What is it all about? It's fine, I'm fine, doesn't matter. I've got no one, it's whatever. All of this is temporary, a passing thing. Everything will be alright, but everyone's falling in love and I'm falling behind. Not part of the plan of what I had in mind. This rate of time just keeps running. I may not find what I'm wanting. Maybe it's falling in love, that's not in my design. Maybe everyone's wrong and I'm the only one right. How could I feel so unaligned? 'Cause they're falling, I'm falling behind.
And then I record at it's actually one of my professors from the college I went to here. Her husband has a like little home studio, and so we met like 2 years ago. And so pretty much our like what we do is we go in, he does like all the instrumentation, and so we work together with the instrumentation. His name is Bill White, and then pretty much I take it home and master it and mix it. And yeah, it's been a lot of YouTube videos and a lot of like process of like each song. I feel like I just learn something new and like get better.
Well, I think that's really cool because, that's what we're all about is, the indie artists. And, there's not a lot of people that are out there that have the budget to go, bring their music to a big studio to have mixed and mastered and even record, and so, the good thing about, the technology now versus when I was in the music business, years ago, we didn't even have HD, to do the videos, and we didn't have, the kind of sound quality. It was a lot of analog, instead of digital. And so now you have the ability to go onto your laptop and really do things that you weren't able to do before. And then now with AI, it's even more so. So, I mean, I think it's great that you're doing that because, one of the things that we talk about a lot on our show is that, artists, they, make excuses sometimes that they can't do this or that. And you're doing it. You're just going out and doing it, which I think, says a lot about your drive. And, I wish, everybody had that drive. It's, because it's like anything else, any kind of art, if you have you have a phone. Everybody's got a phone, right? A smartphone. You can do things on your smartphone now that you couldn't do before either. So I think it's, it's pretty cool that you're doing that. So, more power to you for using, YouTube tutorials as well. And that's something that a lot of people won't do either. They won't Google stuff or use YouTube. And the fact that you're doing that and you're learning on your own, that's only going to make you a better producer down the road, or, possibly engineer. You can do your own stuff and not have to worry about, build a home studio, at some point. So anyway, good for you for doing that. So, I understand that you've only been doing this for a couple of years, since 2023, you've been singing your whole life, but that you've really been doing releasing music, for the last couple of years. So what kind of prompted you to kind of, do that now? I guess what was the turning point, I guess, that kind of made you wanted to, start releasing your own music and getting it out to the world?
I was a college athlete. I don't know. I think I draw a lot of parallels from just playing a college sport, and I just have such the grind mentality and just figuring stuff out, finding every single way to figure something out. But I graduated college, and I was kind of at a point in my life where I was just I went to school for graphic design, but I worked at a coffee shop at the time, and they would host open mics. And I remember this is my first time seeing an open mic. And, I'd been singing my whole life, and I really enjoyed singing. I just, even as a kid, you have these the sky's the limit when it comes to dreams. And so as a kid, I'd be in my room, singing, putting on these performances to myself. And I feel deep down, I knew I wanted to be a singer and songwriter, but again, life kind of gets in the way. And so, once I graduated college, I kind of felt the power is kind of in my hands to determine where my life could go.
Yeah.
And so I was you know what? I've always wanted to learn guitar. So I was I'm going to buy a cheap nylon string. I'm going to watch some YouTube videos. I'm going to learn how to play guitar, and then did my first open mic. And I think stage fright was a huge thing that kept me from going up and singing, even at karaoke. But I feel once I realized stage fright was not a thing, I was I just loved the feeling of being up on stage and being able to sing in front of people. And so, yeah, it kind of all happened at once. And then I was okay, how do I songwrite? And so I remember I grabbed one of my friends who did poetry at the time, and I was hey, do you want to help me maybe write a song and see where it goes? I played at the same coffee shop for a while regularly, on the weekends. And I feel once I was able to record my first song and do all the things, I was wait, okay, this is achievable. You think oh, that's unrealistic, that's not something I can do. But I feel once you're doing it, and once you take small little steps, you're oh, okay, yeah, I am doing it. I am an artist. I am a singer-songwriter. This is something I can achieve and do.
I mean, that's a that's a good point. I think just like anybody who's a producer or director or anything of that nature, it's if you're doing it, you are that. You are that. You're a producer, director. If you're on stage and you're singing, you are a singer songwriter. It's there's nobody has to bless you and say, okay, this is what you are. You don't have to wait for somebody to do that. If you're doing it, that's what I think the most important, tip is here for anybody listening who's thinking about doing it. It doesn't necessarily have to be for a living right away. If you're, like you said, you go to open mics, you're just trying to learn the ropes, and you can do that if you're actually doing it. And, by going up to open mics and, even going to a park or a street corner, playing your music. I mean, somebody's going to listen to it, and people have been noticed, and discovered by doing less than that, so I think it's important, just the fact that you're out there doing it and writing, and then there's really no rules either. I started writing music, myself, and I've never been a songwriter. I've always been the music video director, producer, but now I'm starting to write music, and I'm actually very happy with the results. So it's one of those things that you can always reinvent yourself. And I'm 56 years old, and you're young, and you have the rest of your life ahead of you, to do this. And it's just amazing that you're, doing it now, and then you have all those years to hone your craft, so talk about what are you doing right now? I mean, are you working on other songs? Are you writing? Are you recording more, or are you kind of seeing where these releases are going to go now? Or are you continually, wanting to put things out?
Yeah, so I'm currently working on an album. I just last summer was kind of just I was feeling very inspired. And for a while I've just been putting out singles because I feel like that's what you're kind of told when you first start, just like trying to promote, singles. Because it's hard to put out a big body of work and then having because no one knows you at the time. So it's kind of hard, for people to like go in and listen to each song. But I'm just like I wrote a bunch of songs last summer. And so no, 2 summers ago. Sorry.
Yeah.
Summers ago, I wrote a bunch of songs. And so I'm like working on recording them right now. And so, and here and there, like I will write a song when I'm feeling inspired, but I'm very much in the like just grinding part of doing all the like, technical stuff. So just being in the studio, recording, mixing. And so this is like the most music that will just be mixing back to back.
So what inspires you? I mean, who out there do you listen to for inspiration, with your music?
So one of my biggest inspirations, and I feel like she also was just the artist who made me see that like it is achievable and like it is very realistic, is Jessie Reyes. And I discovered her, I think like it was during COVID, but I discovered her and then I've just like I don't know. She's very inspirational and she very much is like, yeah, you can do it. Like, just do it. And then also Olivia O'Brien, Billie Eilish. I mean, that's a big like pop,
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Zenadelphia. She's a smaller artist, but yeah, those are some of the ones that I've kind of just.
I mean, Billie Eilish, recorded with her brother out of their bedroom. I mean, if there's a bigger inspiration, I mean, there you go. You don't need to go into a studio in LA, New York, or Nashville to cut an album. I mean, you could do it at home. I mean, like I said before, I mean, the technology is there, so there's no excuse to not get your music out there, really. And I mean, the microphones that they're actually making right now, like this one here, is industry standard, and it's really not that expensive. So people can do some good work if they just, they treat a room like this, or, my studio here, it's treated, but it's in a house. So it's, I don't have to go to a studio to do this. So again, people that are listening out there that are singers, again, just work with what you have. Some people record in closets, a lot of, I was talking to Chris Kirkpatrick from NSYNC one time, and he was telling me that when they were on the road one time, they actually cut an entire album in the bathroom of their hotel. So whatever hotel they were in, they used their bathroom and the hotel room. So, I mean, it can be done anywhere. So again, great. Kudos to you for doing what you're doing. And, I guess, how can people find you? I mean, like what kind of social media do you have, and how can people listen to your music, so they can get excited about it?
So you can find me on all streaming platforms, just under Kristen Taylor. And then pretty much I got TikTok, I got Instagram, and my handle is just Kristen Taylor. There's 2 Ks at the beginning and 2 Rs at the beginning because the regular Kristen Taylor is taken.
I think your music is great. I love listening to your music, and, I was on your YouTube channel. The nice thing about it too, is you have like every social media, and you have, on Instagram, looks like you have over 3,500 followers, which is good. That's a really good, number, organic number, so you're going to continue to grow that. And, so I guess talking about social media, what kind of tips do you have for people that are out there that don't have a social media presence, I guess, or that are just getting started like you did 2 years ago? So, I mean, what did you learn, I guess, over the last couple of years that other people can learn from you?
I would say the biggest thing is try to be as personable, but also just be yourself. Like, I personally feel like I use my social media as like a scrapbook of just my life, but also just like what I'm feeling, my emotions, and like just all the things. And I feel like just using it on a regular basis, but also just making sure like you're capturing everything, like,
Like who you are. Yeah.
and just making it intentional to like, oh shoot, I got to post this week, so let me I don't know, just when you're out and about and doing things and just making sure you're just capturing everything. But I
Like
think
you're a real human being.
yeah, and that's what people grasp onto, is just like the sense of relating. And so I think, it was funny 'cause for a while when I first started, my dad in particular was telling me like, oh, I think, maybe you should make like a business account for like your music. And I was like, Dad, no, like, no, because again, like, I don't know. It's also just like being who I am. And so just living as an artist. And so I think I want to, just think being as personal as you can.
Yeah, that's good. That's good advice. And the other thing is what now that you've been doing this for a couple of years. I guess what is your long term goal? I mean, what do you want to do at the during this journey that it's like a stretch goal for you? I mean, is it touring, playing a certain arena, recording more? I mean, what are your long term goals to for doing what you're doing?
I think I just want to get to a point where I can just be doing art full time. And again, like, I think success is measured in different ways to different people. And I think I always say this person just because, but like, I feel like in my head, I don't need to be like Taylor Swift big. Like, I don't need to be like selling out arenas every night or like, but I think just getting to a point where like I can be financially stable and just be doing my art and be traveling and going on tour and just like sharing my art,
Yeah.
I think that's the ultimate goal, is just to be an artist full time.
Now, where you are in Texas, we talked before we started recording, you're near Austin, which I'm very familiar with Austin because I used to go there a lot. And I know that it's a big art town, it's like, the big film festival that's there, and there's a lot of great music. I mean, Austin city limits. I mean, there's a lot of things that have been shot there, that are from the music business. So, do you find that Austin is somewhere where you don't have to move to like a Nashville or, somewhere like that to be in the music business? I mean, do you think that you could stay in Austin and have a good career?
Oh, for sure. And like, there's just so many different organizations in Austin that like want to see artists succeed. Like, I'll shout out some like couple, like there's Local Sets, Austin Music People, Austin Music Love. Those are just like three, but like there's so many different just like people who have created these platforms that like want to help artists succeed and just like want to help get people connected. And like, again, it's just a very artist driven town and everyone wants to help everybody. So I think it's just
collaborative. Yeah.
It's a very awesome scene.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. What do you want your legacy to be? I mean, I know you just started with this a couple of years ago, but when you use down the road, I mean, what do you want your legacy to be? What do you want people to think of when they think of your name?
I think, I think back to why and how like the artists that I aspire to be or that have inspired me, like how they like touched me. And I think there are so many times music for me growing up has been such like a comfort. Just when I'm feeling at my lowest or like just in just such a tough spot, like some of these, artists that I listen to, like hearing their lyrics has just been so comforting in those moments of feeling so alone. And so it's just, I think I want my music to comfort people. Like I really just want to be in service of people, and I want people to feel like, oh, okay, like I'm not alone in whatever I'm going through. And so again, I just want it to be like a virtual hug.
I love that virtual hug. First time I ever heard that. That's awesome. I like that. And I grew up an athlete myself, and so one of the things you kind of equated it, your work ethic, I guess, to that. And I think of people who haven't been in sports. And I'm not saying it's necessary, of course, but but I think that one of the things that I've learned being in sports my whole life was the discipline that you get outside of your home. That really had an effect on me in everything that I did. If it wasn't for my coaches that I had, kind of, because the thing is that, as an athlete, you can't let the team down, and you feel like if you're not doing your part, you're going to let the team down, not just the coach or yourself, but the team. And so you kind of have this kind of built-in kind of work ethic that's it's hard to explain unless you've been yelled at by a coach, several times. So it kind of makes you do things that you normally maybe wouldn't do. So I kind of equated to the art piece of it too, because when I got into art, doing music videos and things like that, I mean, it's probably the same for a singer, actor, whatever, that, you kind of have that competitive nature in a way, but you also have that discipline that you got from your coaches. And so it kind of forces you to kind of just do it and not kind of make excuses. You just do it, right? You use what you have and you do it. And so I like that analogy that you made, going back to our earlier conversation on being an athlete, because I know you're a soccer player. You said at a pretty high level in college. So again, it's I think that was great. I just wanted to mention that for my advice for anybody that's listening. It's that just to, if you have an idea and you have the passion for what you do, then just do it. Even if it's into a tape recorder. We've had major artists that have said that that's how they write a lot of their songs, by singing into a tape recorder, or now you can do a voice memo on your phone. And that's how they used to write their music. So again, just use what you have, even if you don't have a camera for a music video or the budget to hire a director. Use your iPhone. It's phenomenal footage. I mean, you can't get any better with some of the iPhones and even like the, or the, Samsungs or, the whatever out there, the phones, do amazing work too. So, like you said, get your stuff out there, film yourself, just, doing your everyday life. And I think people really do like that, because my biggest hits that I've had are videos where I'm not even talking about my shows. I'm talking about, somewhere in New York that I'm walking, or, that was shot in a movie or whatever. People love that kind of stuff. So I think that's a great, great advice on your part. So again, check out Kristen Taylor. Tell everybody how to reach you again.
It's just Kristen Taylor on Instagram, but yeah, got a K in front and then an extra R at the end. So
got it. Okay.
And shoot me a DM or.
Sounds good. Well, good luck with all of your work, and you do great work. And again, your production quality is really good. So keep up the great work on that as well. Anytime you want to come back, just let me know, and we'd love to hear how your career progresses, and we'll definitely follow you as well. But again, thank you for your time tonight, Kristen.
Thank you so much.